this week we will continue our lesson on chapter 5 on the last two subtopics, which are we're gonna learn about the structure and the functions of the cell wall, and also what are the unicellular and also multicellular organism. So cell wall is an extracellular structure that can only found in plant cell, not animal cells. However, some of the protists, prokaryotes, and also fungi do also have cell walls. So the functions of the cell wall are to protect the plant cells, to maintain its shapes, and also to prevent the excessive uptake of water in plant. So plant cell wall are made of cellulose fiber that embedded made up from monosaccharide and embedded in other polysaccharide in protein. So plant cell wall also have a multiple layer. Primary cell wall, which is very thin and flexible. The middle lamella, the thin layer between the primary cell walls of adjacent cells or between two cells. And secondary cell wall only can be found in some cells, which is aided between the plasma membrane and the primary cell wall, as you can see over here. Okay, this is the cytoplasm of the first cell, and this one is the cytoplasm of the second cells. And as you can see here, this one is the plasma membrane, and after the plasma membrane, you can find the secondary cell wall, which is between the plasma membrane and also the primary cell wall. This one is the primary cell wall, and between the primary cell wall of two adjacent cells, we do plant cell do have middle lamella, as you can see over here. So for intercellular joining of plant cells, it involves plasmodesmata, in which plasmodesmata are channels between the neighboring plant cells. So through the channels of plasmodesmata, the water and also water solutes, sometimes protein and RNA, can pass from one cell to the next cells. So as you can see here, the plasmodesmata connecting the two cytoplasm of the adjacent cells. Okay, here is the cytoplasm part of the first cell, the cytoplasm part of the second cell, and you can see over here the plasmodesmata, okay, that connecting these two cytoplasm. So if the solutes pass through the plasmodesmata, that one is it's called as a simplest pathway, which is it will pass through the cytoplasm. However, if there is some molecules that pass through from one cell to another cell through the cell wall, that route is known as apoplast pathway, in which the molecule pass through the cell wall. So meanwhile, in animal cell, they do not have cell wall or lack of cell wall. However, animal cells are covered by extracellular matrix, or also known as the ECM. So ECM is made up of glycoproteins such as collagens, proteoglycans, and also fibronectin. So the extracellular matrix proteins will bind to the receptor of the protein that embedded in the plasma membrane, which is called as the integrin. So in animal cells, extracellular matrix function for the support of the cells, to regulate the cell division in animal cells, and also to regulate the adhesion between two adjacent animal cells. So as you can see over here, this is the plasma membrane. So we do have the protein that embedded in the plasma membrane that known as the integrin, and later the extracellular matrix will bind to the integrin receptor protein of the integrin of the plant cells. Animal cells. So what is glycocalyx? So glycocalyx is the fuzzy or hairy coat that found outside the plasma membrane of animal cells. They're made of a sticky oligosaccharides covalently bonded to proteins and also lipids of the plasma membrane. So the functions of glycocalyx are to strengthen the cell surface, to help the cells stick together, and to help in cell recognition. So as you can see over here, it looks like a hairy coat, okay, that surrounded the plasma membrane of the cell. So in animal cell, they also have intercellular junction to transport the molecules. Okay, so intercellular junction help neighboring cells to communicate. So there are several types of intercellular junctions, either in animals or plant cells, which are plasmodesmata, tight junction, desmosomes, and also gap junction. So we're gonna look on the first intercellular junction, which is plasmodesmata. Remember, plasmodesmata can be only found in plant cells. So through the plasmodesmata, water and small solid can pass through from one cell to another plant cell. Okay, I did mention this one earlier. So for animal cells, the intercellular junction, including tight junction, desmosome, and also gap junction. So tight junctions are the membrane of neighboring cell are being pressed together. Therefore, they will block the transport through the intercellular space. Okay, meaning to say there is no transport of substances through the tight junctions. And the second junction that can be found in animal cells is desmosomes, or also known as anchoring junction. So desmosome helps to keep the cell close together into a very strong sheet. However, it still allows substances to pass freely through the intracellular space. Okay, not like the tight junctions. And the last junction that can be found in animal cells are the gap junctions, which is also known as communicating junctions, in which it helps to transport materials between the cytoplasm of the adjacent cell. As you can see in the figure here, the tight junction, in which the membrane of these two animal cells are being pressed together, therefore it will block the transport of substances to pass through this area. And this one is desmosome, or also known as anchoring junctions. Okay, it only allows some substances to pass through the intercellular parts of the cells. And last but not least, we have gap junctions here that will allow substances to pass through between one adjacent cells to another adjacent cells to another cells. So last subtopic, unicellular and multicellular organism. So based on its name, we know already that unicellular organisms are the organisms that made of only one cell. So meaning to say they are very, very small and need to be seen with a microscope. You cannot see them with your naked eyes. So common names of unicellular organism also being called as microscopic organism, microorganism, and also really small living thing. So examples are amoeba, bacteria, protozoa, and also paramecium. And due to the very small size, the small size of the organism and made up of only one cell, therefore they have very simple body anatomy with the most basic structure. And these organisms have cilia, flagella, pseudopodia that will help them to move. However, they do reproduce in both sexually and also asexually, and they will get their food by means of the process of phagocytosis by using their pseudopodia, where the pseudopodia of the microorganism will engulf the food particle and store them in the vacuole that present in the body. Okay, as you can see over here, they do contain contact vacuole, pseudopodia in amoeba, paramecium, and also in euglena. So for multicellular organism, they are the organisms that made of two or more cells. So these organisms are able to be seen with naked eye, no need to be seen by using the microscope. And they only reproduce by means of sexual reproductions, and they have a very complex body anatomy compared to unicellular organism because of the various cell organelles that helps to control the functions of the organism. So since there are more than one cells in their body, they are classified into germ cells that are reproductive cells, and also they being classified into somatic cells that help in body growth by cells division. So they do have germ cells and also somatic cells. And the common names of multicellular organism are many cells organism, or known as eukaryotic organism. Examples such as like us, a human, cats, flowers, and also a trees. Okay, so what are the advantages and also disadvantages of unicellular and also multicellular organism? Of course, a single cell cannot grow indefinitely, so they can only grow up to the certain limits and number. So multicellular, okay, allows the animals to be increased in size with many possibilities or specialization. So this specialization will help them or permits a greater efficiency for the organism, and they will help to enable the multicellular organism to exploit or to explode environment that are being denied to the simpler unicellular organism. However, for unicellular organism, they are more independent compared to multicellular. This is because they can carry out all life activities in a single cell, but each of individual cell in multicellular organism are unable to exist on their own. So there are two origins of the multicellular organism or eukaryote. So these two popular theories explain the origin of the membrane-bound organelles such as the mitochondria and chloroplast that can be found in multicellular cells. First is endosymbiosis cells that explain the origin of mitochondria and chloroplast in multicellular or eukaryote cells. And next is invagination theory of the plasma membrane to form the endomembrane systems, including the endoplasmic reticulum. So for endosymbiosis or endosymbiotic theory, we have learned about this before. It is a theory that proposes the organelles such as mitochondria and chloroplast were once prokaryotic cells that living inside a larger host cell, in which the larger host cell engulf the mitochondria and chloroplast, and then they are live together by having a mutually beneficial relationships. So some aerobic bacteria develop into mitochondria and cyanobacteria into chloroplast, and eventually producing the eukaryotic cells of animals and also plants. Okay, as you can see here, the prokaryotic cells, it will engulf the aerobic bacteria, which is the mitochondria, and this one it will engulf the free living prokaryotic photosynthetic bacteria, which is referring to the chloroplast, and then they will live together by having a mutual um, relationships, and then they will develop into animal and plant cells. For invagination, the second theory, it is the process where the plasma membrane of the cell will fold by itself, so forming other endomembrane system inside the cell. So as the result of the mutation, the plasma membrane will begin to fold in on itself, thus creating a small cave inside the cells. So over many thousands of generations, this invagination will grow and eventually surround the cell DNA and creating a nuclear envelope, creating the endoplasmic reticulum and also Golgi apparatus, everything that under endomembrane systems. Okay, so I think that's all for today, class. So you have to remember you have learned about the cell wall, the intercellular, the ECM extracellular matrix in animals, the intercellular junctions in plant cell, which is plasmodesmata. In animal cell, we have gap junction, tight junction, and also desmosomes. And two theory that helps that explain the origin of the eukaryotes are the endosymbiosis and also invagination theory. Okay, class, that's all for today. Thank you.